Hello everyone, let's continue our fan game project. In the last episode, we had a bumpy collision code. Whenever you were trying to move diagonally, the character would get stuck between the blocks. And you must be perfectly aligned to be able to go in between these blocks. And if you're not perfectly aligned, you will get stuck too. So the first problem is, why are we getting stuck when moving diagonally? The reason for that is this. Imagine that the red block is our character and the orange is the collision, right? If we try to move to diagonally here, what the code will do, it will check, can he move right? Yes, he can. Can he move down? Yes, he can. And then it will move the character in those two coordinates. But the thing is, it moved inside the block. And now he cannot move right and he cannot move to the bottom, so you get stuck unless you go back and then go down. In order to visualize that, we'll have a special draw event. When you activate this text here, this event, you're specifying to the engine that you're drawing the object in a different way. So if it's blank, it won't draw anything because you didn't specify anything. So it's a blank. Your object is blank. So you have to put some code here in order to draw things correctly. And the first thing is draw self. With this line of code, it will draw itself. Then we are setting the draw color to green. So whatever comes next will be drawn in green color. And we put a if statement here. If there is a collision with a wall, it will set the drawing color to yellow. And lastly, we're asking it to draw a rectangle. The way that this code works is that it will draw a rectangle based on the x1, y1. Let me go to the manual so you can visualize it better. It didn't show an image, but wait. Okay, it didn't show an image, but here's what it does. You have the coordinates, x and y, and when you're drawing an object, it will say draw a rectangle based on this point here and this point here. Like when you're drawing a rectangle here, right? When you're using the rectangle tool, you click here and then move here, and the rectangle is drawn. So you just need to specify this point here and this point here, and it will draw the angle, the rectangle. X1, Y1 is the first point, then X2 and Y2 is the other point, and false is for the outline. You see the coordinates here, and what I did here is I asked it to draw the B box left. This line here represents the bounding box of the object. So if we get our collision box, the B box left is this side of the collision. This side here, let's put it in green. This side of the collision here. If we go to B box top, is gonna be this part, B box bottom here, and B box right, this other part. By using all four of them, we have our collision box. So I put B box left, B box top, B box right, and B box bottom. I added this minus plus one here, but let's remove it. And let's test it with the code now. See, I have my collision box drawn, and we can see the collision perfectly, even how we need to get perfectly aligned to go between the objects. And if we get stuck diagonally, it's drawing in yellow. Now, with just drawing the character, let's draw the objects too. In the object, we put the same code, but we're drawing in the color red, and you have the same thing here. Let's run the game now. And now we have the hitboxes for the blocks and for the character. And you will notice something here. Do you see how the box is overlapping the other one? This is maybe a bug because GameMaker is drawing 1 pixel more. This is why I added -1. So to have the perfect collision boxes drawn, you must take -1 from the beam box right and -1 from the B box bottom. And now, as you can see, the boxes are not overlapping each other anymore, and we have perfect collision boxes drawn in the game. Even now, you see that it's becoming yellow because it's detecting a collision. And now we can visualize it better, what's happening with our code. And how can we fix that, right? We're getting stuck diagonally. And remember how I said that the order of your code matters a lot? This is happening because it's checking this collision, this, and then it's moving both at the same time. So if we check our code here, here's the part that checks the vertical collision and the horizontal collision, and here's where it moves both. So what we should do here is get this part that moves the object vertically and put it first. So what it does is like it will check the collision on the vertical and then move vertically. And then it will check horizontally and then move horizontally. So what's gonna happen is like here it will check, can it move vertically? Yes, and it will move. Then the horizontal collision will detect the block and you cannot move anymore because it's already moving in one direction first instead of both at the same time. And if we run our game now with the new code, we won't get stuck anymore. Even pressing diagonally, he's even moving perfectly in that snake-like pattern. But still, we have to be perfectly aligned to move between the boxes. How can we fix that? Well, this is gonna be the tricky part of the code because I have no idea how to handle the correction of the hitboxes. Okay, after messing with it for a while, I made a code to check one corner. Let's see what it does. I added here, it detects a block, a collision block, and we ask if the collision block dot object index. When you do the collision block dot something, you're asking about something about the collision block, and object index will say what kind of object it is. So we have, if the object index of the block is not, when you put a exclamation before equal sign, you're saying that it's not equal. When when the object index is not equal a wall, the block is not a wall because we don't want to check this with the wall object. We just want to check with the blocks. Then it will run the code. And the code does is, if x is smaller than call blocks x, if we go to the paint here, we'll see this is the x coordinates. And remember that our player x is in the center, but the block x coordinates is detected here. So if our player x is smaller than the block x, what it will do, it will run another check if the box right is higher than the box left, right? If we go back here, it will detect if this corner is higher than this corner here. Then it will move him to the left. And if we run here, we can check that it's working. If we are like here, and if we push down, it will fix his coordinates and he will go in between them. But the thing is, how we will check the other side. Let's put a code here to see the bounding box. I mean, the x coordinates of the object, the x and y. We added here draw set color to black, and then we are drawing a point in the x and y coordinates. This way we can see a dot. We should be able to see. Why are we not seeing that? We made a mistake. Actually, it was not a mistake. Now we add the color to white, and if we check here, the size of the dot is here. It's just very, very tiny. So we have to make this dot bigger. So I added -1 to one side and +1 to the other, and we should have a bigger point now. See, we have our collision point, and let's draw the objects too. Okay, now we have the collision points for the character and for the block. And here we can see this. So how we will detect this corner here? We have a default distance of the box that is 16 pixels, right? So I added another statement here. It will check if X is smaller than code block X, and if this is not true, it will check another thing. That's why we put else if. Then if X is bigger than code block X plus 16, we will be checking if the X is bigger than the blocks X plus 16, because we know that the blocks has 16 by 16 pixels. But there's an even better way to do this. Instead of you doing this plus 16, we can check if X is bigger than the block's collision on the left side, right? So the code should be like just if X is bigger than coblock B box right. And here we should do B box left. So this should be still working. Let's check it. If we are here, we can still get corrected. And now we just have to fix this for the other side. So if B box left is smaller than B box right, we'll move him to the other side. And now we should have the collision code correcting for both directions. Let's see here. Okay, and here. Okay, so whenever we touch the object and if we are in the range of fixing, the character will get corrected to go in between the blocks. And now we have to repeat the same thing for the horizontal code. Now for the other side, we have a problem. Our character X is right here. So if we add the collision detection to the B box bottom, what's gonna happen? If we are here, it will correct because the collision point is low, so it will correct a lot. And if we are colliding here, it will only correct if I'm touching exactly on this point, so it will correct just a little. So we should get this point and reposition it to the center of the object. It's hard to pick it up, but we should put it on the center right here. So I went to the sprite, as player idle down, his X is here, and the collision box is this. Let's put it here, right on his belt. I think this is the middle. Yeah, I think this is the middle. So we'll put all of the sprites in this coordinate. This is the new coordinates for the character center. Okay, all of the sprites have the new coordinates right on the center. And if we check now, oops, I'm inside the object. I have to reposition, put him outside here. And let's check. Now it's more centered. Now our code should work. Now we are having another issue. When I was testing the code, this is happening. Look at this. And when I try to go down, the character is freaking out. And I discovered why. When we are moving here, we touch this corner and the code moves our character to this position. But the thing is, we have another block on the other side, and now it's detecting the collision with this block. So it throws our character to the other side, and we go back and forth and never go in between the blocks. So now I have to see how we can fix that. And to prove that if we lower the speed to 1, our code will work just fine because it's moving just 1 pixel. See? But the thing is, since we have a faster speed, it will move too much. And then the other block will move too much. And then we get stuck in this back and forth position. So this goes to show how complex making games is. Just a simple game like a Bomberman game takes a lot of effort. But we'll get to a solution. I just have to think about how can we fix that. And this is where we end this episode. I'm trying to lower the episode's length because YouTube's algorithm doesn't like long videos. I hope we can get through these issues because I'm having a lot of fun with this side project. But if everything fails, we can repurpose this project in another kind of top-down game, like a Zelda clone or whatever we think about. So stay tuned for the next episode and I'll see you soon.